fantastic place, LAVASA. I'd like to thank Aspire, Dr. Satpathy, and seniors over here, so that they can listen to me, bear me with next hour or so. And interestingly, good morning life stories from Parag Kulkarni, real life stories. Then a deep learning from Swagatam. And now we are coming to something which is, after these stories, after the work, you need to publish. You need to have something to write so that it can be disseminated. Now, how you can do that? That is the most important. Now, if you look at the writing part, I will talk more about journals. Although Springer is always established as a book publisher since 1842. And to give you a news like this, in 2015 we have also a joint venture with Macmillan Science and Education, and Nature, one of the biggest brand in science, is a part of Springer right now. So we have Springer Nature. The name of the company has changed, but still you can find that small horse is still running. And whenever I come to Dr. Satapathy's conference, he says, "You are coming in a horse." So although I am not coming in a horse, don't worry. So in 1665, the first journal was published. So we have already traveled 350 years. 350 years is a very long period to look back and do whatever we have done in these 350 years. 1842 we started, 1843 Macmillan started, 1879 Nature started. So all before 1900. With the single objective that the science which is happening, the experiments which are happening, the research which are taking place, they should be published. If you look at the printing, basically, that is almost 4,000 years ago. All these hieroglyphics and which are there, they are all old. You can find in places like Greece and Egypt and all these places. Now, that is one of the reasons, publishing evolved from printing. So people equate when they say, "I want to print my paper." At times they don't say that I want to publish my paper. So they tell, "Sir, we have to print a paper in your journal." So we don't print, so we publish. Let's talk about elements of scientific paper publishing. You can see me over here, lying here, photograph there, as Solomon said, the image. The image can be in your brains, so that you can identify me when you meet again. See, I am a part of the global acquisition team. My focus is to get content, especially from authors. And this is another area which I go and talk about how to support authors. This is what I am going to do for next 1 hour or so. My presentation is divided into 4 parts: scientific publishing, before you start, structuring your manuscript, and author services. We'll get back to them one by one. First question which comes to the mind: why publish? Exchange ideas globally. See, whatever we are doing here, we need to disseminate to the global scientific community. They should go to people, their work should come to us, and the platform is there from where we can download and we can study. So we have to publish for exchanging our ideas. Network with scientific community. Is there anyone over here can tell me about some, if you have heard of pen friends? What exactly is a pen friend? Anyone? Yeah, please, if you can.
In earlier time, there are no social media and all that, so friends are connected with letters.
Okay.
3 months later, one write a letter to her friend, and after 3 months.
Good, very good.
I have a different view.
Please, sir, if you have a different view, let me hear it.
Same type of concept, but the pain is, end of the day, the other friend gives you a lot of pain, not responding most of the time. So it is a pain.
True. Friends are always pain. But har ek dost zaruri hoga. See, I am talking about pen friends, not pain friends. So pen friends, she has said correctly. That is the way to communicate with global community we used to do. When I used to be a kid, I was in class 3rd or 4th, I used to write a letter to a Japanese kid in a school in Japan, and we used to communicate. That was a fantastic time, and it used to travel some 3 months, 4 months time. The letter has to go, then another 4 months I used to receive a letter. now everything is on in our hands, in mobile. Just couple of clicks, you have a WhatsApp, you can send your data. I think everyone is using WhatsApp.
Yes.
Over here, anyone who is not using WhatsApp? No, so everyone is using WhatsApp. Fantastic. 90% data what you receive in WhatsApp is trash. So don't waste your time over there much. 10% data what you are receiving for which you can use, that will remain in your mobile, you will never use. So whatever I am going to talk over here is not about our social network thing. I am going to talk about technical writing, serious technical writing. So network with scientific community, when I am talking about penetrance, now I want to tell you about why I said network with scientific community. Like when you write a paper or when you read a paper, let's say when you read a paper, you see there are corresponding authors and corresponding authors have corresponding emails, correct? That is the mandatory thing. Have you written to a corresponding author any time or anything? Have you written anything to a corresponding author?
Yes.
For what? For what you have written about?
To require the paper, sometimes the essay is not available.
Okay.
So write a mail to send research papers.
Correct. See, normally we have a feeling we have to write to a corresponding author when we have a query. That is what we feel. But I can tell you, you can write to a corresponding author when you don't have a query. Because you can communicate with them. Why you are reading that paper? Because that paper is in your area. Correct? Whatever you are doing, that is what you are trying to read. Now there is a corresponding author. You are finding very good data, very good information in that paper. Why not communicate with them? See, if you have published a paper and that particular paper is referred somewhere, I am not talking about direct reference, maybe used by someone, and they write to you that your paper is one of the best papers I have got, or something, some information which I have used, how will you feel? You will feel great about it. Someone is using my work. Someone is referring something from my work. And this is the way communication goes. The internet is the biggest revolution because via internet we can communicate. Google is something which started in late 90s, just before 2000, and it was a noun, name. Now Google is a verb. We search, we even don't use the word search. Please Google kar lo. This is the way it goes. So we are fortunate that we do not have to use any more other search engines but Google. So networking is very important for scientific research. Acquire research funding, advancement in career, these are attached to your careers. Then you have a very good career over here. You can become a science communicator. Yesterday I was in Pune and I was talking to a group of researchers over there in an institute called IITM, Tropical Meteorology. And over there they said we never knew about this particular career. But if you pick up any good magazine, as very correctly Swagatam said, that it was published in New York Times. Now, New York Times is not a science magazine, but they have a science section. And in that section, someone is writing about that innovation. Who is writing about that innovation? The person is scientist himself. Because the person who can analyze, who can understand the work and who can actually interpret in their word and write a column is again a scientist. So there are n numbers of magazines, whether it's a science magazine, whether it's a popular magazine, always has a science section. So here you can find a career also if you can write well. Language clarity is critical. Your research is not complete until it is published. Please mark these words because you are not just publishing your work to complete your work, you are publishing your work to help the scientific community. And without publication, science is dead. Let's see the submission process which has changed. Before going to the submission process, I would like to ask you, how many journals are there in English language published worldwide right now? Do you have any numbers in mind? See, you cannot be mute spectators. Good morning again, good afternoon. See, how many journals are getting published in English language worldwide?
50,000.
How many? See, just 50,000. How many?
50,000.
They have attended my presentation. That's good. See, the number is 50,000. Indeed, it's 49,000 something. Interestingly, what exactly I was referring here, when we talk about 50,000 journals, all these journals have different frequencies. That means monthly, quarterly, yearly, half yearly. So if you take an average of quarterly, that means 50,000 into 4, these many issues are getting published. That means 2 lakh issues are getting published per year. Each issue has at least 10 articles. That means 20 lakh articles are getting published. So these 20 lakh articles which are getting published are accepted articles. Correct? So accepted articles are basically the 30% articles which are getting accepted. Rest 70% is rejected. So when these 70% papers are getting rejected, look at that mind-boggling number I am talking about. What is the kind of submission taking place? And another important aspect I will talk about, for these all submissions, the requirement of reviewers. All these papers which are rejected, they also need reviewers. All these papers which are accepted, they also need reviewers. So how many reviewers are required for 20 lakh papers as well as the rejected papers? So there's a huge amount of work is going on, and I can tell you all these reviewers, they are not getting a single penny for doing any kind of reviews. They are doing it just because they love the subject, they want to help the science community. That is what they are doing. Let us see the submission process. This is the process which is followed nowadays after the internet is there. Before that, everything used to follow postage. People used to send their papers through post. Journals used to receive them. This is the way it goes. Then it started mailing. The person who actually invented emails died a couple of days ago. Any idea what is the name of the person?
Samir.
Anyone?
Samir.
No, it's not Samir. I can hear some murmurs and no. It's Dr. Tomlinson actually. He just died, and just think, if I look at my work, my son asked me 2 years back, what is your profile? What do you work actually? What is your work? I said, I do emails. He said, then I was actually looking for something. what is something I am doing? See, since morning, I am just mailing. If internet is not there, my computer is just a black box for me. I cannot do anything in that. So the kind of innovation, look at that, has actually transformed the whole world. So with this email, what happened? Now we send our manuscripts through emails. There is a platform, we go there. We don't write covering letters anymore. That is very, very important. Although I am not going to talk about covering letters in this presentation because I have my time constraint, but please mind it, writing a covering letter always helps. The paper goes to the editor? Actually no. The paper goes to a guy who is a technical guy, just reading the paper and understanding whether all the elements are present or not, looking at the submission. And if it is there, it's fine, then he passes on it to the editor. Editor looks for two things, whether the results are novel and topics are relevant or not. If it is there, it will pass to the next stage. If it is not, it gets rejected. Simple. If it is there, it goes to the peer review. And what is a peer review? What is a peer review?
Manuscript will be given to a fellow scientist to check for.
Fantastic. What is your name?
Jyoti person.
Okay, from. Thank you. Peer review is, see guys, you need to talk. I have more gifts actually. See, peer review is, the paper is submitted, now the paper is going to an expert in that area. When you will be expert, paper will come to you. This is the way the peer has to check the paper. Now peer review is done, came back to the editor, paper is accepted. Sounds very rosy. So this is not the case, it comes actually here. Maximum time it is here in the revision. Now what is to be revised? New experiments, improve readability, add information. 3 simple words, 1 more year.
Can I interrupt?
Please sir, please.
Editor decides whether results are novel or topic is relevant.
Correct.
And if it is relevant, it goes to peer review.
True.
Professor Lotfi Hare's first paper, for instance, editor rejected in political science.
Correct.
So it has not gone to peer review. Okay. Again he has sent it. Somehow he said it's okay. Reviewers again rejected. Now that is the highest cited paper in this. Highest cited paper in the world as on today.
Correct.
For this sense. So what to do with such thing?
So there are
Whether editors are taking real peer reviewers. Suppose Lotfi Hare's paper comes to me.
correct.
I am not competent.
Correct.
So I will reject it.
Correct.
So it's a problem.
True. So review is an inherent problem. Right now every journal is facing that problem. The very simple reason is we don't see. I can give you a very simple example which is not scientific papers at all. This is related to one of my I can say I am very fond of that person. It's Satyajit Ray. I love that person, and I'm fortunate that I am Bengali and I can read all his Bangla books and authored things. Now Satyajit Ray once asked how you can make such good movies. He said, and in India, what is that is good and what is bad? And he said, see, good is we have good directors, we have good actors, we have good locations, we have good cameramen, we have good makeup men. Everything is so good. He said, what is bad? He said, the bad is we don't have good critics. If your work is not criticized properly, then there is no chance to improve. If you have just submitted your paper and everyone said, oh fantastic, maybe it's fantastic, but you needs to be checked critically. You need good critics. Sir.
I just want to interject here. It is not true everywhere in India, but this part I have to achieve since I am in Pune for last 5 years. There is a tremendous propensity to submit to paid online journal.
True.
Pay 1,500 rupees, get it published in 5 days.
Correct.
That you please mention to this young audience, young
Correct.
and bright audience, to stop doing that. I mean, it's, I have been fighting for last 5 years here.
It's true. So the problem is you are fighting, you are telling people, but very correctly as Dr. Deshpande said, if a person from US, from Stanford stands here and tell your students, please don't do this, they will listen to it.
Yeah.
When you are doing it, this person is saying the same thing again and again. So this is what I can tell you. I just visited NIT Rourkela and a person, he said the same word which you said right now, I said to my students yesterday, they were even not listening to me and now they are taking notes. So just look at them. I am an academician and I am teaching them for so long. They are doing PhD under me, but they are so this is something like journals which you mention every day, they are mushrooming. Every day new journals are coming and this is like a business. It's like a business and there is a tremendous peer pressure, huge societal pressure, huge work pressure. Now I can tell you when you join your PhD, previously people used to work on their PhDs. Now people are thinking only of publishing papers. On the very first day they are not talking about their science. They are talking about which journals you are publishing. Let me also think from the very first day itself. See, I am coming from a publisher, but I am telling you, publishing will be done automatically after 3 years. It's not that it will not be done. If your work is good, it has quality, people will publish it. Every journal editor wants to publish a good paper. They don't want to reject it. And if it gets rejected, sir very correctly said, you have to submit to the next journal. So there are 50,000 journals. Maybe 50,000 not in your area, but obviously there must be something around 100 in your area. Here I am talking about revision. When you say new experiments, improve readability, add information. So it goes to the next level after the revision, but this takes a year to work on them. So it is done and again the paper is accepted. Now coming over here, I just want to ask you the term feedback. Feedback is a positive word or a negative word? Who thinks it's a positive word? Please raise your hand. Is there anyone who thinks it's a negative word? Feedback is a neutral word. It's not positive, it's not negative. See, the problem is, you need to think out of the box. When I am saying something, don't only concentrate on my sentence. You need to immediately think. Feedback is a neutral word. I can give you a negative feedback, I can give you a positive feedback. So all the papers, they receive feedbacks. Peer review process is basically getting feedbacks on your work. And that is basically giving you a rejection or an acceptance. Now, if it is a paper is accepted, which is as is, this is the position. Very few papers. Maximum are over here rejected, and main papers are lying here. Because the science is good. Maybe it is rejected or revised because of many other reasons. And you have to revise it. Okay. Now the next question will come to your mind, the people who are publishing, what is the publishing timeline? I have submitted my paper and the paper is not getting published. 6 months, 8 months, 10 months. Why it is happening? There are many reasons for that, but I can tell you after 3 months, you can start inquiring. Immediately you can write to the chief editor of the journal, you can write to the publishing editor of the journal, go to the home page, under contacts, you will get all the details. You have every right to write to them and ask them, what's happened to my paper? What is the status? Now, why this is delayed? Sometimes the manuscript type is a problem. There are huge submissions, as I said. Now, all these submissions are happening, but at the same time, there are very few reviewers. So, papers are going to the reviewers and getting. So, in the whole process, it will take time even to send it to the reviewers. So, if you are sending a wrong manuscript, suppose the journal publishes letters and brief communications, and you are sending your original work, the paper is just lying in the office for almost 2 months without any movement. Then they will check it. And then they will check it, okay, the paper is not correct for our journal, and they will send it back to you. This is one of the reasons many paper gets rejected. So go to the home page, always look for what they are publishing. Availability of peer reviewers, I said, number of revisions, at times revisions are more. The paper is coming back, again you are revising, again it's a move. So there are a couple of revisions, so it is getting late. How well you address your reviewer comments, that is also very, very important. Because suppose your paper is accepted and it is sent to the reviewer checks it, sends some comments, and you have to work on it. You worked on it, you answered them, but you have not answered all of them. There is a possibility that paper will not go to the same reviewer again. When they are sending it to the same reviewer, that reviewer said, I am not in India, I am in France for my project for 6 months. Now either they have to wait for 6 months for that reviewer to come, or they can send it to the next reviewer. Now when it is going to the next reviewer, reviewer not going to review your paper again. They will just look at the comments. So if your comments are not correct and you are not answering to all the questions, then there is a chance that it will get, again the timeline will increase. Coming to the next part, before you start, there is a small word over here, read. Correct? I will stress upon that, and I can tell you why. Reading improves writing. If you don't think so, take my word, the people who read more, they write well. Swagatam was talking about neurons. Let's come to that. A small kid, when it's a fetus, 25% brain is developed. By the time the child is 5-year-old, 75% brain is developed. Whatever you are saying to the child, you can actually, they are absorbing everything in their conscious and subconscious mind. A 6-month baby cannot talk, but if you say water or fan, pankha, the baby looks at the fan. How is it possible? But we don't talk to the babies actually. You know, it's better to talk. We don't talk to the babies because we say how are you, because the baby is also saying how are you, so you are not you trying to communicate in the same language. No. See, subconscious brain is working. And by the time the child is 5-year-old, so all these neurons are getting connected. You can see a 2-year-old kid has a fantastic motor skill with their hands. Someone doesn't have. That means the neuron of that particular area is We will fully develop for that kid. So when we are talking about reading, reading develops everything. Why? Because reading will tell you what to do. Interestingly, when you read, you understand how the structuring of the argument. Whenever there is an argument, how it is structured. When you read more, then you will get to know the formats and the stylings. Get new ideas. Only by reading you can get new ideas. Correct? Not reading WhatsApp. Correct? Journal quality. I am talking about journal, but you can talk about newspapers also. When you read a newspaper in the morning, immediately you think, oh, this newspaper is not good. This has spelling mistakes. So I will stick to this. This is my type. Everyone has a type of newspaper. 4,000 newspaper companies are there. They have 4,000 websites. Everything is online. Still people want to have a newspaper in the hand in the morning. Why? Because it's an addiction. If I don't get to see, even I don't get time nowadays to read a newspaper, but I need that newspaper in the morning. I was looking for that newspaper in the hotel in the morning. I asked them, you don't give newspapers? They said, no sir, we give, it's not in your room, sir. I just want to see the titles, it gives me, okay, the day has started. So you get to learn by reading only the quality, and finally, what not to do. By reading only you will learn, I am not going to do these things, but that will only from reading. This is the human brain. Both sides of the brain are essential and work in harmony. Correct? Brain has two sides, left and right. Left has nothing right in it and right has nothing left in it. No, it's not the case. See, it is basically logic and creativity. One talks about the logic, other talks about the creativity. There are n number of tests online available. You can go and see which part is working better for you. So they are connected like your reading and writing. Correct. But here I am going to talk about writing, which is scientific writing, which is a structured based writing. Writing like Shakespeare is different. So read often. How you are going to read? Take Saturday, any Saturday. Download everything for 1 hour. That is not your reading day, that is only downloading day. Because if you are doing both the things simultaneously, then you will not be able to do justice to your work. So you put 1 hour, you will download the work which is relevant for your area. Next 5 days, you give 30 to 40 minutes, 20 minutes for reading that work. There is a journal club. Anyone knows about journal club? Any idea? See, journal club is a very simple club where the similar type of people like your peers who are doing the same kind of activities, they download the same papers, they read the papers, then they dissect the papers, and finally after 5 days or 6 days, they come with an analysis. This is a journal club, which is a very common thing in many universities, and in Delhi University we used to have many journal clubs. It's not that where we have to register or pay some fees. It is simple, couple of people. So you can have a journal club, you can discuss with colleagues. The best thing is to discuss with colleagues, which we don't do. Because, why we are not doing that? Because we have a distrust. We don't trust people. I attended a lecture by Stuart Diamond. This is a person who is one of the world's best negotiators. He came to Delhi and we went there. When someone asked me in my office, are you going to attend his lecture? I said, for what? He said, he is going to talk about negotiations. I said, I don't want to attend anything for negotiations. He said, go and please listen to him. So I went, with a mind that, okay, just I have to hear. But I can tell you, I was totally transformed after hearing him. He said, the two countries which are facing maximum problem right now, they are growing, but they are facing problem is USA and India. USA because they don't trust each other because of fear. And we don't trust each other because there is so much of competition. But the best thing is to trust. When you trust, then only you succeed, otherwise there is no way. That is why the countries like Germany is so ahead of us. Such a small country with so very rigid way of working. They are not flexible at all, I can tell you, because I am working with a German company. They are not flexible. But they are growing because they trust you. And you can do that also. how the topics you are going to find. Controversies, not political controversies, you are going for scientific controversies which are there, which will give you ideas. Unexplained findings, there are so many. Nowadays, with Google, we go to article level search. Whenever we are searching, we don't go to a website or where the journal homepage is there. We go to the article level. Now go to the homepage and you will find all these editorials, commentaries, letters to the editors, they are always freely available. And these are written by the experts. And by reading them, you can get new ideas. And from new ideas, you can actually find new problems. And from new problems, you can work on your new research. Hot topics, you can find similarly by reading your similar areas or related areas, because there is so much to read, how to find. So you have to be very cautious with downloadings. So you can do all these things by reading more. You have to read more to write well. See, by the time I am going to finish this presentation, this brain photograph should be implanted in your brain. That is the whole objective. Next is talk to other scientists, local society meetings. Always enroll yourself with some societies. Join societies. Societies which are scientific societies, which are going to help you. Not political societies, they will never help you. They will help some. National conferences, international congresses. These are the important places where new results are discussed. Now you are here for a conference. I have seen in many conferences, people are always in hurry. They want to present first and go home. This is the way it goes, you know. And interestingly, organizers are always so constrained with timing because it always starts 1 hour late. Now I have to present, complete my presentation. Sir has to present after me. You must be feeling hungry. Lunch is progressing, so everything is out of focus. So by the time you will have your technical sessions, we will tell you, okay, present in 5 minutes. No, you have to be given time and you have to honor time and you have to listen to other people also. Please book your tickets accordingly. मेरा ट्रेन छूट जाएगा. अरे भाई दूसरा भी ट्रेन है. So this is a common thing I hear. You know, in conferences you don't have time. You are here to meet people. You are getting an opportunity to meet Swagatam. You are getting an opportunity to meet Dr. Mukhopadhyay. You are getting an opportunity to meet people like Dr. Deshpande, people like Dr. Sengupta. They have come all the way from different places just to be here for a day. Take maximum benefit of that. Listen to them, take your queries to them. This is the chance. Don't lose it. Ask yourself what exactly the journal editors want. They want high quality research, good and well executed, original and novel, interesting to journal readership, very very important. If your paper is not interesting for the journal readership, editor will reject it, and good English. English has to be simple because your paper is going to Saudi Arabia, Africa, Japan, Iceland, Greenland, Thailand, all these places. They are not native speakers of English. So you have to write simple so that they can understand. If they cannot understand, they do not understand, they are not going to cite your papers. They are not going to read it, they are not going to cite it. See, it's a very very important topic, journal selection. I have seen people, this is the only way to select is talking to your seniors and then talking to your peer. And the journals which you are referring, but there are many more journals which you are actually relevant. How you can select it? Before coming to that, I want to tell you certain factors which are appropriate for your message, how you will find it by reading obviously and reading the aims and scope of the journal. Go to the home page, read the aims and scope, you will get to know. Publishing frequency, looking at the frequency you can find a journal. You want to publish quickly and you have selected a journal which is actually publishing annually. So they are going to publish your paper after a year only, there is no possibility. Target audience, whether it's an open access or not. Cost, very important. You have 10 figures in your paper, all colored. Now when you have submitted, you haven't checked it that they are actually charging. By the end of 8 months, your paper is accepted. Now you get a message from them, $50 per image. We are going to charge you. 10 figures, $500. You don't have that money. So basically, just by not reading the instruction, you have lost 8 months. Who is getting harmed? You, the authors. So publication types. And the most important thing which is creating the greatest impact right now is impact factor. You know what is impact factor? What is it? Citations by number of publications. What's your name, gentlemen? Tyagaraja is a gift for you. Thank you so much for telling this. Impact factor is a factor which was developed by Reuters Group in 1970s beginning to help the libraries to buy good journals. See, mind my words here. These numbers are for libraries, number one. Number two, if I tell you that I am sick, I am ill, I am not feeling well, you will say, okay, not well. If I say I am running a fever of 103 degrees, you will think, "Arey, abhi presentation dete गिर जाएगा." So it's a measurable quantity thrown at you. So it's easily you can find out, okay, he is very, very ill. Similarly, they have created some numbers. 6,500 journals out of 30,000 journals at that time were selected. 5,000 journals from US, 1,500 journals from rest of the world, and they created a database because that was done in US and US journals were picked. They created a database and they said these are the best journals which are available because libraries always have a problem with the funds. So you can buy the best journals which have good impact factor. Now the problem is whenever you ask a scientist, what are you doing? They will say, I have published 3 papers, in ACI index journal. I have published 2 papers in Scopus index journal. So then they will ask you again, no, what are you doing? He said, no, I have published another paper here. My paper is under. So you are only talking about your publication numbers. You are not talking about what science you are doing. See, you are here to do your science first. Papers will come automatically. Bose again. You know Higgins? God particle? He has written 9 articles only. And he has no email ID. I got to know this from Swagatam in Udaipur. We were there last week and he said Higgins has no email ID. And he has only published 9 articles. He has never used internet. Just look at it. And Bose particle came. And Bose like me came. Correct? No. So this is just on the lighter side to wake you up. So coming to the Sprinkle journal, how you can select? For selection of journal, there is a tool which will help you. Yes.
So this impact factor, which is the body that gives the impact factor.
Yes.
Because nowadays, like when I go to some website, they say we have an impact factor of 3 point something, 2 point something. But if you look at elsewhere or any journal that has been there, it says you have an impact factor of 0.5. And similar-wise, I believe Delhi V's journal, it says it's got an impact factor of 0.60. And when I click on that particular thing, it says some JIF impact factor.
Correct. I'm going to get it. Yeah, let me answer you in 2 ways. You go and travel on highways. Correct. You see big hoardings. The best TV is Samsung. Go another kilometer, you will find the best TV is LG. Go another kilometer, you will find the best TV is Onita. Best TV is someone else. So which is the best TV? Yeah, everyone is saying best TV. And they are saying, we have a figure, we have a data. On this data it is calculated. Someone is talking about largest cell figures. Someone is talking about maximum volumes they have manufactured. Someone is talking about something else. There are different criteria of measuring. So everyone is best. There is always a fight. Correct? When we were kids, we used to have so many soft drinks. Campo Cola, Gold Spot, Limca and all these. Now we have only Pepsi and Coke. Everything died. So they have picked up everything. Correct? Now, when Thomson Reuters came with these numbers, you think Thomson Reuters is the only company which can do business? No. There are some like JIF. There are some, say A to Z, there are 26 alphabets. Correct? You can form any company. A, B, C, C, D, E, B, E, C. So all these companies are coming up and they have their own calculations. Someone is taking 2-year calculation, someone is taking 3-year calculation. Now you have to understand this is a game which is going on. Second thing which I am going to tell you, impact factor is subject wise. Look at mathematics paper or any journal. Mathematics journal has an impact factor of 0.2 is fantastic. But any medicine journal with an impact factor of 3 is also not good. Why? Because mathematics, they don't cite. First you have to derive and decipher the whole meaning of that proof, and then only you can actually cite that paper. So citation is so less, reference is so less, so mathematics papers don't have good impact factor. But medical journal, every case study is being referred. So they have a very big impact factor. So this is a calculation. You have to get out of this calculation. There are certain norms by government to make you aware. As sir said, there are so many new journals are coming up and they are taking 1500 rupees and publishing your work, which is going into trash. So that you don't do that, they said please go to a good journal which has an impact factor or which is published by good publishers, publish there. So you need to understand that, but you don't become slave of impact factors. Don't look at impact factors for the first thing. Suppose you have 10 journals in your area and they don't have any impact factor. All these 10 journals, they don't have any impact factor. I'm taking a very vague case. So, are you going to submit in these 10 journals or you will go to a different journal which will never be read with an impact factor? भाई आपका सामान खो गया है कमरे में, पार्क में नहीं ढूंढोगे ना क्योंकि वहां पे लाइट है, कमरे में ही ढूंढोगे ना जहां पे खोया है. So if you have good journals जहां पे आपका पेपर पब्लिश हो सकता है वहीं पे पब्लिश करोगे ना. So look at the quality of the journal, look at the people who are involved in the journal, look at the aims and scope of the journal, look at the target audience of the journal. Please sir.
Just to share my view on this.
Correct.
Go to the editorial board who are involved.
True.
And also see whether it has science citation index or extended also SCI or SCID.
Correct.
Or at least whether it is getting indexed in DVLP, at least.
Correct.
So it will have some leverage.
Exactly. You can see many other parameters beside impact factor to check on that. If you have specific questions, I can answer.
The impact factor should be given by a body which is recognized all over the world, like Thomson Reuters or Science Citation.
Exactly. Yes.
This thing.
Now, the problem is at times people are not aware who is giving that, impact factor, and there are so many bodies right now. It's so confusing. You know, they are not a part of SCI, but they have an impact factor of 7.2.
Very high and online journal.
Yeah, online. Yeah. So coming to the next part, see how you can select a journal. You can put your abstract over here. The paper's abstract you can paste here. How to use? Just insert the abstract. It will recommend journals. Now these are all Springer journals which will be sequenced according to the relevance. And you can see you can have an advanced matching for impact factor and frequency also. Correct? From here you can go to the home page. It is based on semantic matching terms, impact factor, aims and scope, and then you can go to the journal home page. So, and if you look at here, there is a small logo which says EDANZ. I want you to take a note of this. EDANZ is the name of the company, EDANZ. They developed this software for us. For Springer, we have 3200 journals. If you are using this tool in Springer website, then you can have a search for 3200 journals. But if you go to EDANZ website, they have a database of 27,000 journals. So all different good journals are also part of that database. Publication ethics. Coming to ethics, I will not spend much time over here, couple of minutes. Multiple submissions. Now multiple submissions is not very good because you are submitting your paper to multiple journals. It happened with me. I am working with a journal called Journal of Optics, and there's another journal called Photonics. Correct? A gentleman from ISM Dhanbad submitted their paper in both the journals at the same time. Multiple submissions. Both the editors sent the paper to the same reviewer. It's a small world. They are friends. So the reviewer called up and he said, I have received the same paper from both of you. Now what to do? Who is going to pay more? so they are friends, you know, they talk to each other, and so they have taken a decision that they are not going to publish this paper for the next 5 years because it's a multiple submission. So again, also is harm. If you want to submit to a different journal, please withdraw your paper from this journal and then you can go to a next journal. Plagiarism. The best keys available on a keyboard is Control C and Control V. Correct? You can Control C से copy किया और Control V से paste कर दिया. Don't do that. I'm not going to talk much about plagiarism. Improper author contribution.
Sir, these days a lot of pressure on PhD students because you know every institute has a criteria. Okay, 2 SCI is required, and 4 years they will start to publish after 3 years because you know a lot of work is required. Then they think to publish within 6 months, 4 months, otherwise मेरा late हो जाएगा, ये हो जाएगा. That is the main cause because what are the scenarios going on? SCI चाहिए, चाहे guide हूँ मैं या student है, SCI चाहिए, तो they will submit to multiple channels, and at least 1 year required for good publication. So that is the main cause.
But that main cause is giving you a different implication altogether. It is harming you.
Yeah.
In a way, if you are doing multiple submission, it is harming you. If you are doing plagiarism, it is harming you. Who is being harmed?
No.
The author. See, I am telling you, if you concentrate on your PhD and you do a quality work, journals will automatically publish your work.
No.
They are there. See, take the journals away. A teacher teaches a class. आपने कभी सोचा है टीचर ने कभी फील किया मेरे क्लास में कोई बच्चा फेल हो जाए? होता है ऐसा? टीचर हमेशा ऐसा पेपर सेट करता है जिसमें 40 मार्क्स ऐसा होता है जो हर बच्चा आंसर कर सकता है. Then 30 marks are for them who has read something. Then 10 marks for people who has good, and last 10 marks are basically for the intellectual guys. That is the way it's set. So 40% मार्क्स तो सबको मिलना ही है ताकि पास हो जाए. तो जो जर्नल का एडिटर है उसको भी तो पेपर पब्लिश करना है और अच्छा पेपर पब्लिश करना है. आपको अगर अच्छा पेपर लिखना नहीं है then there is a problem.
Yeah. So that is the concern. We are looking for the numbers.
So I am saying that don't look for numbers.
Yes. We are teacher. We are doing 2 numbers. If you will have the 2 numbers, then you get the PhD.
Correct.
So the scenario is required to change now because that is I think the main issues these days.
That academic world is already in the policies when it's made. All these academic bodies are also part of it. It's not that a single person is taking creating a policy. No, you have to be away from these trash journals also. That is why these steps were taken. Policies were made. So data fabrication and falsification is the biggest problem, I can tell you, because plagiarism is not a problem. It's only 1.8%. But 40% papers are facing a problem of fabrication and falsification because easily available data, and so it's called reading. It's how people install new software into their brains. Correct? Structuring your manuscript. I will run through. Once upon a time, this is not the way you start actually. So what exactly you do? You have an IMRAD model. Do you have any idea what is IMRAD? IMRAD is nothing but introduction, methods, results, and discussion. This is the structure of a paper. Now when you talk about expanded IMRAD, it's basically title, abstract, keywords, and references and acknowledgement. This is the basic structure of your any scientific paper. What is the right order to write a paper? What is the first thing you should write when you are writing a paper? Abstract. Correct? Everyone believes that the abstract is the first thing to be right?
No. It is the last thing.
It is the last thing to be right. The first thing is methods and results. If you are doing a research, you have the methods and you have the results with you. Second thing, select the journal, then you can have introduction and discussion. Then you have the title and abstract, because this is the summarization of your paper. Last thing you should write. Coming to your importance of your title, basically it grabs the reader's attention, introduces your manuscript to an editor, and level of indexing. It conveys the main topics. Be very specific. Avoid all these acronyms and jargons until and unless it is DNA. Correct? The whole world knows. This is possible when you read more. Abstract. Abstract is aim for less than 250 words. Normally, this is the way you should construct and style your abstract. Problems addressed 10%, objective and hypothesis 20%, techniques 10%, 40% most important results. Just mention the result and concluding statement 20%. But always go and check the instructions because there is a possibility that this number of words can differ. The question is why for introduction? Over here, provide the background information to put your work into context. Normally क्या होता है मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ, आप जब PhD करने के लिए जाते हैं आपके गाइड बोलते हैं जाके थोड़ा पढ़ाई करो, तो you go back and read the literature. 3 महीने बाद आप फिर से वापस आते हो and you say I am through. फिर गाइड बोलते हैं नहीं फिर से जाओ थोड़ा और पढ़ाई करो. आप फिर से जाते हो, जब आप वापस आते हो देन जैसे नहीं थोड़ा और पढ़ो, तो आपको लगता है ये प्रॉब्लम है कुछ काइंड में, either the person is crack or he is not ready to register me actually, you know. But the problem is if you don't know the background well, then you cannot do well in your research also. But the problem when you write introduction, आप सोचते हो यही मेरे लिए मौका है, जितना मैंने पढ़ा था सब लिख दूंगा इसी। But that is a mistake, because you should not write everything from the literature. You do not write a comprehensive literature here, you just refer them, cite them. Go to the middle part, tells about the reason for your studies, address the problem, and do not state results from your studies. Maximum people state results in the introduction and paper gets rejected. You have a different section to do that. Introduction end, clearly state the specific aims, state the methods, and citation should be balanced. Old citations and new citations. Materials and methods, clear subheadings, describe methods in past tense. New methods should be clearly defined here. Old methods can be referenced and use the statistical test you can mention here. Results, again you put subheadings, use past tense, but figures and tables you use present tense. Present the facts, do not discuss your result because you have a section called discussion. Just put the results here. Do not duplicate the data among figures and tables. Figures and tables are very good way to communicate, but they should be standalone. Caption should be standalone and the figures and data should not be again defined in your paper. They should be referenced. Discussion, this is the difficult part to write. Be humble, do not overstate the importance. Mathematics people can write that our findings prove, other people should write show and suggest. Answer the research question first. Always provide the main result first. Give your conclusions based on the result. One paragraph per idea. Now are these results from a previous study? If it is a comparison, you should give both the studies, whether same or different. If it is new one, describe it. Briefly describe the limitations. Whosoever is doing a research properly, they know the limitations of the work. So if you are not actually talking about your limitations, the reviewers will ask you to do that. Then end of the discussion with a signpost. Basically, we say a signal post or a signpost. It's in summary and in conclusion. Mention the possible implication and application and suggest future work if necessary, if you know. There is no need to do that, it's not mandatory. References, you can use different format references, like whether it's a numbered thing, whether it's a name date, that you can look in the instructions and you can use different softwares to do that. You can format them by using these softwares. Now where do I find reviewers? Very basic question from your reading and references. Number one, networking. Aim for younger and mid-level researchers because senior people have too much on their plate for admin work. They will not be able to review your work. Editors have the final decision. Over here you can find the reviewer looks like this, very happy with your work, and at times like this, but don't think it is negative because reviewers are reading and giving feedback for improvement of your paper. Last section, which are the tools, I have just quickly run through. Springer.com/authors. Here you can get all the details. You have journal author and book author homepages. Author Mapper. This is a fantastic software developed by Springer in collaboration with a company. See, I just searched Pune over here. You can put your search here and immediately you get these many results. That means from Pune there are 14,345 articles, which is a part of Springer database. All these authors are mentioned. In the options you can put your subject area, country, and all these searches can be there. So what exactly this is doing is explores the pattern in scientific research, identify new and historic literature, locate other experts in your field, and the whole search is going on in more than 3,200 plus journals and more than right now 2.5 lakh ebooks. Papers, another software which was developed by a 23-year-old Yugoslavian scientist. He said what exactly people do with the papers, they find the articles somehow, save them somewhere, annotate them in some way, share them sometimes, get back to them if they can find again, eventually cite them, and then reformat the citation. But you can do all these things. If you are not doing it digitally, it will look like this. With papers, it is much clearer. So all the steps are possible. Over here, you can get a free trial software, papersapp.com. You can download it. This is also connected to the social network sites. From there, you can communicate with other authors also. Whatever I am saying, everything is available in Springer Journal Author Academy. If you go to the Academy site for 30 days, 30 minutes each day, I don't think you need any kind of author workshop anymore. The best book written by a scientist on how to write and publish a scientific paper is Robert A. Day. 6th edition is freely available, 7th is chargeable, available in Amazon. You can buy this, and I think every research person should read this book. A scholarly book, when you write a book, you think my book will go to everyone. Basically, a scholarly book for anybody is probably a scholarly book for nobody. So it's basically targeted to a very small segment. There are 2 very good books written by William Germano, from dissertation to book and getting it published. These are the 2 books which you should read to understand all the nuances of publication and how to publish your work. We have a unique book which we publish in Springer, which is called Springer Briefs, which is a small book. We have realized that there are books written by authors which are 60 pages, 80 pages. They don't fit a book program. So we developed this book, Springer Briefs, which is developed in 8 to 12 weeks. Everything will be ready once it is evaluated, and the manuscript is can be LaTeX or Word, and copyright remains with author. So your work, which cannot be published as an article, the whole thing cannot be published in the form of a book, can go as a small book. Okay? So thank you so much for hearing me, and good luck with your publications.